We're all alone, no chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber, let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. Let's be outrageous, let's misbehave.
Hi Vlog Relay, I'm in Vegas. I feel like Barry and Paul are here with me. Hi Vlog Relay, I'm in my basement. The water heater might turn on at any moment, so I'm going to talk pretty fast so that I might defeat it when it turns back on. I've been gone for a long time. I've been gone for the sum of 6 months. And I truly feel bad about this. If there's one thing I'm not good at, it is tackling projects on the internet and sticking with them. And you can ask pretty much anybody about that. I want to play catch-up, and I want to get back on this bandwagon, and so I'm going to start by answering all the questions that I missed. Paul asked what we are afraid of. I completely understand Bill's fear of IVs. That's actually the reason that I don't give blood. I like the idea of giving blood, but having a needle in my vein gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm also afraid of the internet community as a whole, particularly the one I've built around myself, discovering that I'm a fraud and abandoning me into obscurity. The water heater's on now, so I better keep going. Barry, you asked what programs we used to watch when we were youngins. I watched a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse, actually. Bill, good taste. And I also watched a lot of Bill Nye the Science Guy on my downtime, which was convenient because in my science classes we would usually watch an episode of Bill Nye to sort of wrap up a unit, sort of put a button on it, and all the other kids were like, oh god, Bill Nye, oh Jesus. But I was just having the time of my life. It was like recess for me. Bill, you asked who we could bring back from the dead, who we think died prematurely, so that they could see their legacy playing out into the world. I would bring back Jim Henson. I know it's not quite Martin Luther King, but Jim Henson died because he contracted some infection, but he didn't want to bother people by asking to go to the hospital. And I think if he were still around, and if Henson Studios was still active, it would be a nice stronghold against the overly sort of like Star Wars prequel kind of CG animation that we have today. And I just really wish that he was still around. And since I have been gone, I have in fact had lots of camera trouble. I have lost the charges to both my photo and my video camera. I'm recording this now on my phone, which is probably what I'm going to have to do from now on, because I don't know how I'm gonna do it otherwise. Since I last saw you, I bought an iPad. It's lovely. I played 5 Wootstocks, 1 in Chicago, 1 in Minneapolis, 1 in San Diego, and 2 in San Francisco. While I was in San Francisco, I watched the Mythbusters blow a thing up. I played at PAX. I went to Comic-Con. I went to the Google headquarters, not headquarters, but the Google campus in Kirkland, Washington, and played a private show for their employees. I went to Las Vegas with my family and with Chris, and I declared a major and went back to school, and I have started watching Doctor Who, and I would very much like to talk about it, because this seems like the ideal forum to sort of fangirl about Doctor Who for the first time. Barry, I know that you watch Doctor Who. Paul and Bill, I don't know about so much. You might. You don't talk about it very much. But if you do, please come forth. And I've been gone from pretty much every venue on the internet for a very long time. And somebody actually sent me an email about this the other day and said, are you taking a hiatus? You haven't announced it anywhere. What's going on? And I sort of bore my soul for this poor guy. But the basic summary of it was, like, when you try and juggle, right? I'm going to put the iPad down. When you try and juggle, right, you will be juggling 3 balls and things will be going fine. But once you drop 1 ball, you stop to try and get that ball and you end up dropping all the other ones. And that's kind of what happens with me and projects on the internet, is I will take on more balls than I could ever hope to juggle, with the hope that I will figure out how to juggle as I am going. And as soon as I drop one, I drop them all, and then I don't know which one to pick up first. And I'm too embarrassed by my failure to get back going. And so, like, I will say, sure, I'll be a master in Masters of Song Fu, and then I go through a bad breakup and I drop that ball. And then I say, sure, I will take my extra VidCon posters and mail them to you if you reimburse me, and I will draw a picture on the back if you drop a little extra money in there. And then I can't find a P.O. box for 2 months, and I drop that ball, and I'm embarrassed. And then I say, sure, if you put a funny lolcat caption on my on a picture of my cat, I will draw you a picture if it's funny. And then I drop that ball, and I do this all the time. And it's really hard to have all these failed projects kind of in your wake, knowing that at any point you could revisit them, but then how do you explain your absence? Like, it's one thing if like, oh yeah, let's all lip sync to, or no, let's all sing along to the same song and we'll stack them all together and it'll sound like a campfire and it'll be great and we'll call it Sing Along Club. And then you ask for everybody to send in their songs and they send in themselves singing Rainbow Connection a cappella and you're like, I'll stack this on top, right? And then you don't. And to come back to that after like a year and a half of ignoring it, people would expect something spectacular because it took you a year and a half to get to this. But it's just, you just slapped it together in GarageBand and they're gonna go, was that it? And I worry all the time that I'm gonna revisit these projects that were supposed to just be like, oh yeah, in an afternoon I'll draw you all pictures. And it's gonna be, after all that wait and all that suspense, I'm gonna just disappoint every single project that I've attempted. And it's frightening. And that's why I've been absent from the internet for so long, is because, one, I don't know where to start, and I don't know which ball to pick up first. And it's still too many balls to juggle. I would have to like juggle 2 balls, and then finish those, and then juggle 2 more balls. But there are like 80 balls on the floor right now. And so I'm gonna try Vlog Relay first, because I like you guys so much, and there's something about, like, Bill, you're my friend. I really miss talking to you and having you around. And Paul, you seem wonderful and you're very talented. And Barry, there's something about your videos that just makes me feel warm inside in this way I can't describe. You're more wise than you let on, Barry, and I really enjoy your videos so much. And I really want to keep this project going, like, not even for myself. I just want to keep the discourse between all 4 of us going. And you guys were getting along fine without me, but I want to participate again. And this is one ball that I will pick up and juggle for a while. And I hope that you will allow me back in to your boys club. And I really hope that we can get back to where we were before. I'm going to try and stick to the 3-day thing, but we need to get around the cycle again. So Paul, I'm going to pass the baton to you. If you're still having troubles with your university work, and I understand that completely, then I'm going to throw it to Bill. And I hope to hear from any of you soon. And it's good to be back. Hello, Vlog Relay. I am at VidCon and I am neck deep in balls.